Yes, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Online people, please confirm if I'm audible. That's the only requirement. Yes. So, going by the rumor mill, today are the results for prelims, hopefully. So, by today evening or tomorrow morning, UPSC is going to announce results. This is what the grapevine is talking about. So, at least I hope it's a good thing that we started soon so that you'll have a clear-cut idea of what is an essay. So we will decide what to do once the results are out on the essay programs. So yesterday, I hope you have seen the PDF copy. I try to help you brainstorm on what is a given topic and how to go about it. And again, I want to make it very clear that whatever topics we are discussing are kind of basic topics in the philosophical essays. The topic might look like, confusing topic, but in reality, over a period of time, good number of students will master this. The only problem will be value addition. Value addition. Okay. Second thing is, second important point is interpretation of the topic. The second most important point is interpretation. So interpretation can be narrow, interpretation can be broad. These are the only limiting factors which will affect your scores. So either you interpret it very narrowly, okay, or you interpret it very broadly. Okay, broader the better, because broader means more dimensions, more examples, more scope. Okay, at the same time, some people will have a writing style which is totally narrow, but they are very good in narrow. That means from end to end, they will only take one line and they will run with it. That is also good writing style. But only when I see your copies, you will know what style of writing suits you, narrow or broader. Okay. And there is no one way to write essay. You can write essay in 10,000 ways. You can interpret it in any way you want. Okay. Next, for philosophical essays, we are supposed to have thesis statements. Thesis statements are very, very important, at least for your brainstorming. Because if you are writing an essay without brainstorming, you will never be a good essay writer. You cannot write a good essay. Okay. And second thing, whatever you learn from your life, you have to bring. Don't hesitate. As long as it's not informal, as long as it's not, parliamentary, such kind of things, you can bring such things to essay. Anything. You are watching Lok Sabha debate one day. Two ministers had a fun. Okay. So if you can feel like, I can bring that to essay, bring it. Don't hesitate. Okay. Don't limit your own talent. Now, so we will try to apply this as a framework. So when I brainstorm this particular topic, what is the topic? Words are sharper than two-edged sword. Okay. Words can make people or words can break people. Okay. Two-edged sword. Two edges. It can either make, help, or break, destroy, damage, or hurt, or uplift. Okay. So if this is my interpretation, the topic becomes very easy. Words have the power to make or break you. Okay. These are very broader in scope. Okay. Now, words again are not only something that you speak, words can be something that you type, write. Okay. Words can in a way even be symbols. Yes or no? Words here means the message you are communicating. Okay. Words means whatever you are thinking, whatever you are saying, informal, not saying anything, communication, right? Even by not saying something, you are communicating in a way. So words are two-edged sword. Okay. Now this is the starting thought process. That is, words can make or break you, and words can be in books, words can be in articles, words can be in criticism, words can be a message, words can be even a poster. Yes or no? So how to use words? So that is the next question. Double-edged sword. Or words are sharper than anything. So why sharp, or how to interpret that? Sharp is about impact. Sharp is always about impact. Yes or no? A speech by PM Modi will inspire a generation of Indians. Okay. He can use that power for making or breaking a nation. So next is perception. That means the same word used by Kalyan, a normal person, is one thing. The same word used by MS Dhoni or Prime Minister Modi will become a quote. Why? That means words are backed by perceptions. Okay, who is using that word? Where is he using that word? Okay, what is the intent behind that word? How are they using that words? Okay, in let's say like temporal, spatial dimensions, you can add dimensions, right? Historically, right? The same words can mean so many things to different people at different times. So a word when backed by perspective will become more powerful. If you just read a line and you don't know who said it, you may not give it importance. But let's say you like Elon Musk and you found a quote, oh, Elon Musk said this, I love this quote. Okay, so suddenly the same words are becoming more powerful to you, inspiring to you, right? For example, you might have heard about Anne Frank. Anne Frank, who is Anne Frank? The Diary of Anne Frank is a very famous book. Okay, she is a young girl. She is a Jew. She survived the Nazi attack. I mean, the the Nazis for few years, I guess. She wrote a diary during that particular period. In the end, she was caught, and a lot of things happened after that. I don't want to reveal it. But the thing is, she writes a line where she says, I still believe in the goodness of human beings. Okay. Kalyan saying, you know, I believe in human beings is one thing. Okay, words. Okay. When Anne Frank, when she's literally hiding from someone who is about to kill her, okay, still she says, I believe that there is hope for humanity. There is goodness in everyone. The words will add a lot of weight. I hope you understand. So you have to not only say words have weight, words have impact. You are adding why, where, what. For example, Malala Yousafzai saying, you know, every girl should get educated. One student at a time is a revolution. Normally, if you know, you and I say in Hyderabad, probably it's not a problem. But you standing in a Taliban infected area and saying where Taliban are saying girls should not go to school. Okay, if you are standing there and saying it, it will add a lot of impact. Okay, so we are only talking about the positive things. For example, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, same yesterday's examples you can use. Repeated people, Mother Teresa. If these people say words in a positive way, they inspire a generation. They inspire a generation. They make people. They create futures. Right? They help people uphold their destiny. Okay. Whereas the same people, if I'm in a powerful position and use them or misuse the words for my own personal reasons, that is when words will hurt people. Okay, tell few examples of where people will hurt people or words will hurt people. I hope you are understanding the perception part, right? Again, perception can be layers. For example, if your own family members say, you know, you can do it. Okay, that is one thing. But let's imagine your father or mother are coming and saying, you know, you are totally useless. Let's give up on the dream. Okay, it will hurt you 10 times more than any outsider. Right? They are your moral support. They are pillars of your strength. If those people break your strength, okay, nothing will penetrate. No amount of motivation will help you become a better person. If your own family members are saying bad things about you, you'll lose all the hope. So words are very, very powerful when said by people whom we love or whom we attach value to or whom we believe in. So with great power comes great responsibility. Is that no? So words should be used in the most appropriate way. Right? Again, always start at individual level, then move to community level, then move to, let's say, society level, even celebrities, right? Okay, a celebrity will say something that will become very impactful. A normal person will say it will become totally different. Okay, next. Yes, we'll come to that, Sajad. What Sajad is saying is how words. Again, I'm still at a very individual level. I'm not even adding amplification. Amplification is how words will become so powerful when, you know, we add other layers like constitution. The same word written in a constitution is literally a gospel. something is written in Bhagavad Gita. The word in Bhagavad Gita is the God's words, Bhagavad Gita, right? God's own song, the song of the God. Okay, it will have totally different reverence. Okay, so words will, how words will become powerful is what I'm trying to add. So it can be about family, it can be about religion, society, culture, the person, the celebrity, the, you know, sometimes words will also acquire value over a period of time. Let's say the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar are more relevant in 2023 as much as they're relevant in all the ages. Okay, they become more powerful in 2023. Whenever you see an oppression, okay, even after 75 years of oppression, you know, the fears of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar are still true, right? So temporal dimensions adds more weight, more impact to the same words. Okay, so at a very laymanish level, what I'm trying to say is individual, okay, can have positive effect or a negative effect. Who that individual is, again, what matters. For example, geography, religion, culture, and all those things. At the same time, the words of the receiver, because it's a two-side story, right? We are not only talking about the speaker, we are also talking about the receiver. Yes or no? If you have big ears, okay, again, oh, forgive my drawings, right? If you have big ears, if you have attentive ears, if you are more attentive to every word that is being said, okay, you will be a good listener. As Herman Hesse Siddhartha says, rivers are the best listeners. A boatman will travel through the river, and throughout the journey, he keeps on talking with the river, and the river never interrupts. Right? So that means here the essay should not be only about the words that are being spoken. It should also be about the person who is receiving. Yes or no? Receiving part is equally important as much as the speaking part. So words by individuals can make or break, but if you add layers, like Buddha says, you know, there is nothing outside the world, or Mahatma Gandhi says, I won't let anyone walk my mind with their dirty feet. That means you are speaking, you want to destroy me. The famous Buddha story is also there. No, somebody will come and scold Buddha, like, you know, all the bad things in the world, and Buddha just smiles and says bye bye tata. And all the, you know, followers of Buddha will come and say, you know, why didn't you even utter a single word when he's saying so much hate? Okay, Buddha says, he brought hate, he said hate, and I didn't take it, so he will take away. So all the hate is with that person only. Nothing has gone into my skull because I didn't allow a single word of hate to enter into my mind. So it's my responsibility to protect myself from the hate. So though words can make or break you, it is also your choice to allow the words to make or break you. Okay, that can be one dimension. Again, this is all purely at the individual level. Yes. Anything else? Any other examples? Don't let people walk your mind with their dirty feet. That means don't let negative words penetrate your skull and you suffer. Okay. Next, equal weightage can be given onto the receiver also, because somebody said it for one time. You play the tape recorder for 100 times. She said this, he said this, she said this. You know, you repeat the same thing and you suffer more. As Seneca says, you suffer more in imagination than in reality. Yes or no? You suffer more in imagination than in reality. One word repeated 1,000 times in your mind will become a pain to you, not to the sayer. So please focus on the receiver part and the speaker part also. Okay. Now that we have addressed the individual part, how do you add the importance to the word? Why words will get apart from individuals? How do words become so powerful? Can we manufacture importance to certain words? If I have to make a word very powerful, popular, or impactful, how do I do that? Words are double-edged sword. Words are sharper than a double-edged sword. It's very easy to understand. Sharper because it can cut. Okay, what cannot be destroyed by nuclear weapons can also be destroyed by words. If you see the Tare Zameen Par movie, where Amir Khan says an example, just go to a tree and keep shouting at the tree that you are useless, you are useless, you are useless. Okay, after a few days, the tree starts dying. Okay, even plants and animals can understand the importance of words. Okay, So even dogs, right? We see in YouTube shorts and all those things. If somebody literally shouts on the dog will understand the emotion. Okay, this person is angry. This person is, saying it comedily or funnily, right? So you understand. So plants, animals, everybody can understand the impact. So the negativity of the word is well known. Words can make or break. So there is no hesitancy there. But how do, as an IAS officer, you project that particular statement? How do you make it as broader as possible? You cannot write 5 pages saying, a word is powerful. All of us know. A word can hurt us. All of us know. Yes. Perceptions. Draupadi saying to Duryodhana, son of a blind, let okay. Yeah, but again, Sai, if you look at the same Duryodhana, so many people came and said to Duryodhana, please listen to the good things. Don't go to war. Why not share your wealth with the brothers? Okay, there was even the last embassy, like last peaceful offer by Krishna, right? He says, give us 5 villages and we will be happy. Okay, we don't need kingdom. Just give us 5 villages. But Duryodhana didn't listen. That means the sharpness of Draupadi words is a choice of the Duryodhana. That can also be one thought process. Yes, Mandara and Kaikeyi polluted. Mandara polluted the mind of Kaikeyi. Mythological examples. Okay. Anything else? Please brainstorm, collaborate. It's not for me. I know the examples. It's for you people.
Suppose if my works are actually targeting at individual level. First, should be an example like whether I'm following it or not.
Whether you are following it or not should be your choice. Okay.
Also, if data positive impact, I can reach to others to follow this. Following it or not.
Okay. First, we will try to find examples where people will say how examples, right? There is a Telugu poem. That means you have to listen. There is again perception, right? Let knowledge come from all sides. Okay. Yeah. Now, please think about something else. How the amplification of the words come into the picture? As I told you, religion is one application. Family members is one application. Media, print media, forwards, social media. The word now has so many avenues. When Gutenberg, invented the printing press, there was a huge hue and cry, right? People literally thought it's the most important invention of the ever in the world. It will change everything. Okay. So word, when printed, has a possibility to reach so many people. Okay. So now think about all the mechanisms where word will reach. Yes. Pramod, we will first talk about the impact of the words. I mean, how words can be amplified. Then we will look at the positive and negative sides. Okay. How the same words are using for positive things and the same words can be used for negative things. Okay. So you can talk about books, social media, religion, religious books, family members, okay, propaganda, myths, stories. Sky is the limit. You can write 10,000 varieties, and a word of mouth is also a very good example. Yes, word of mouth, media. Then yes. So I hope you people got the idea, right? So you have to tell how words can be amplified. Now you go to layers. What are layers? At individual level, we have covered. Now talk about society. Okay. How do societies use words? Positively and negatively. How do societies use? Tell, for example, there are myths, legends in the society. Okay, some people will take word very seriously, as the Bahubali line goes. Otte sokamata, otte kondakamata. That means, if I give a word, that word is my promise. If I say something, that is my promise. That is following the dharma. Yes or no? Rama's word is Rama's bana. That means he doesn't say anything which he doesn't keep up. So if you say something, you have to live up to it. So we are in a society where we ask promise, sure, pakka, for everything. That means we lost the value of the world as a society. We have to take promises. We don't have that kind of Ramaraja kind of thing. Okay, people lost a trust in a basic word. So again it is a societal word, right? Okay, in a society where a word is spoken by someone, it has to be uplifted. This is a cultural shock that we can see in, you know, American series and Indian culture. For example, if we say, you know, if a best friend asks money, okay, we'll say tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay, we don't directly say no. We keep roaming and, you know, rotating the people. Our word is never taken for granted. If I say 5 minutes, okay, it might be 30 minutes. And it's a joke also, right? Okay, 30 minutes mein aayega. So that means the word of a society has also a lot of impact. If a society respects that word, okay, that is sharper as a double-edged sword. It can make or break societies. If all the people in the society use the right language, okay, respect towards the women, patriarchy will come down. If you look at some comedy shows in India, we casually promote sexism, patriarchy, casteism, religionism, right? So we don't even know. Yes, I hope you understand, right? So societies can also, okay, yeah, and witchcraft, again, people believe in black magic and all these things. Again, these are words. So what I'm trying to say is societies should choose to use which kind of words to be believed in, and a society will create the right kind of approach. Okay, now moving on from societies, okay, let's say governments. Again, don't confuse it with politics. Government is different from politics. What is government? Government can use the words to make people believe in themselves. For example, during COVID pandemic time, government gave a lot of hope to a lot of people using just words. The media campaigns, the advertisements. Okay, negative things can also be done by the government. For example, in different countries, certain governments have created enmity towards particular communities. So governments can use Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, selfie with a daughter, and all these through words. That means, you know, your daughter is your Dhanalakshmi, Lakshmi. So daughter is Lakshmi. That is a very powerful word, right? Okay, so it attaches a lot of religious value. So you can Do gas ki duri. Yes, that is a good example, right? Do gas ki duri, or maintain social distancing, or some campaigns like, you know, Jago Grahak. Yes, all these are what? Words used by governments to promote positive welfare. Sometimes it can be used for negative things also, right? Societies can also choose words for communalism. Yes or no? The creativity is up to you. I'm not going to elaborate examples. Okay. Yes. Yes, there are so many governments, almost all governments, you know, promote, you know, somebody is waiting for you at home. That is a traffic signal. You know, whenever you stop at a traffic signal, there is a scrolling. Somebody is waiting for you at home. Okay. That one line might, you know, just make an impact to a rash driver. Array, yeah, this is true. It can probably save a life. Smoking ads, on all the cigarette packets. Okay. Yes or no? So all these things are what? Words, right? Nothing but words. Mukesh ki kahani is a joke for us. Okay, but let's imagine at least 10 people who stopped smoking by looking at Mukesh. Okay, hasn't their lives been saved? Yes or no? So I hope you understand that is the impact. Now tell me some negative ways of government. See, government smoking acts are not effective, but again, in governance sense, effectiveness is not measured by private metrics. It's not about how many people stopped. Even one person in India gave up smoking by looking at that ad, it's effective. That is how governance works. Welfare maximization is the mantra for government. It doesn't bother about numbers. It's about quality rather than quantity. Yes, please. Any example where government misuses? Promoting few movies like Kerala Story. How will you write that directly, right? It's a freedom of choice. Yes. See, people live and die for certain words like Jai Hind, Jai Sri Ram. Everything is a word. If you add a lot of emotional value to it, it will change totally. For example, right to freedom of speech and expression. All these are words where in Constitution. Constitution, it makes a lot of difference, right? Okay. Promoting religious appeasement in the garb of secularism. Some populistic measures will be a better example, Prasad, because instead of fighting, instead of entering into sensitive things, okay, probably we can sell populist measures like attracting voters, free electricity or free money for all the women. Okay, these are very powerful words, but these will put a lot of burden on the exchequer, the state. So we can write words are very powerful. Now you people please add some layers. What else can be written in this essay? Greenwashing, yes. Companies which are using words for good things and bad things. Yes, greenwashing and all those things are done by company. Our company doesn't, promotes. We love nature. Coca-Cola loves nature by exploiting water, right? So definitely you can add corporate sector dimension. International relations, Sajad is saying, European problem is a world problem, but world problem is not European problem. Jaishankar's powerful quote in the context of international relations, you can add. So how words, change the perspective overnight for entire continent. Because Europeans always believed that, India is doing a lot of drama by buying oil from Russia. But actually they were buying more oil from Russia than us, even before the Russia-Ukraine war. So all the hypocrisy is exposed by him. So that is a very good example. Or Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is a very, very powerful mantra. Yes, how NGOs or even polio, right? Do boon zindagi ka. Zindagi ke liye, right? Something like that. Okay, that is also a very powerful example. How NGOs and pressure groups are using the words. Sulabh Sauchalaya is famous, or Akshay Patra is famous. For example, Akshay Patra will say 1,500 rupees for an entire year to save the kid. Yes or no? 1,500 is nothing but your one trip to PVR, probably. Good movie ticket and a large popcorn, 2 people done with 1,500 rupees. But the same 1,500 can feed people for, a kid for entire year. So Akshay Patra, positive examples. Negative example is you can always add lobbying. How NGOs will lobby. Very good. Yes. The rest of you are here for spoon feeding. No, right? Please participate. Recently I read a quote which says, the only thing you learn by spoon feeding is the shape of the spoon. Yes. Family planning slogans, okay. All positive examples. I'm trying to add layers: government, states, international relations, India, at humanitarian levels, UN. Anything else?
There's an example. Right now we are taking the tiger conservation measures. But in colonial rule, at that time, whatever the government was there, they have given an open poster statement like come to India and go for hunting.
Open season for tiger hunting in India. Yes. Fake news can be one thing that you can add in this entire dimension. NAM by Nehru, okay. Darwaza Bandh campaign, negotiations by UN chief during COVID Cuban cycle. Yes. So words have always been helpful, right? Again, my only intention is if you write a bland essay like Gandhi said this, Mother Teresa said this, it probably won't fetch marks. But by adding dimensions, it will be fantastic. Slogans used during freedom struggle, yes, definitely. Even powerful words like Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vignan, that is recently added by Prime Minister Modi. So science, agriculture, and defense should be promoted. That slogan captures very nicely. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas. So that is also again one thing. Yes. Whole of society approach. That is Sabka Prayas is whole of society approach that you can write in your essay also. Vocal for local. Yes, definitely. Pakistan changing history books is not relevant to this discussion. Kashmir issue trying to make our internal matters. Okay. Do words come with power? Again, as I said, it's all about perspective, right? I think you joined a little bit later, Praveen. I'm not sure. But words per se directly doesn't mean anything. You can show Jai Sri Ram to a somebody from Norway or some other country. It doesn't make any impact to him. But once you understand how or where it comes from, it changes totally. Yes or no? The same applies to Quran, Bhagavad Gita, Bible. All religious scriptures are mostly revered by the persons who understand the context, the importance, and the meaning behind it. Just a word prima facie doesn't add any value. You can also add layers that sometimes, as George Washington said, you have to read between the lines. So what is said in the written word might have a deeper meaning. So what is not said there is also equally important. So words are double-edged swords. Okay, I think you understood. Manipulating the words by changing history. Again, if you write Indian examples, that will be fine. Again, you have to prove that it's manipulation. I will always say it's rationalization. Yes. And we can always bring in 1984 book, a novel by George Orwell, where everything written by the state or anybody is observed by the state, big brother. Okay, so people are afraid to speak the truth. So words are even used to hide the truth. I may not say anything bad, but I can use the same words to hide the truth. That is also equally dangerous. Again, this is one dimension. Yes or no? What is said can be said in a very different way. White lies can be also said against the same word. So summary is words can make or break you. Words alone doesn't have a value. Words have a lot of layers. Who is using where? The same person can make or break. Okay. If Prime Minister of Pakistan makes a insensitive statement towards India and India responds equally well, okay, we probably will go to a war. Okay. But if somebody makes an insensitive statement and we respond with a more positivity and honor, we can stop a war. Okay. Words can literally save people from a lot of things. Okay. Words can give hope to the hopeless. So that is the power of words. Very simple essay. The only thing is how you add dimensions, how you add layers is up to you. At individual level, society level, national, international level, totally your choice. What makes or breaks you is up to your choices. Okay. Yes. Any questions on this particular topic? I will move on to the next topic. Again, please understand, if you have never written a single essay in your life, probably won't appreciate what I'm doing here. You have to take pen and paper, sit, brainstorm and write. Definitely, Pramod, Swaraj will be a nice example, even nice intro also. Ashwatthama, Hataha, Kunjaraha can also be used, but again, how you bring into the paper is totally what matters, Suman. So for example, ethics, philosophy, a lot of people said a lot of wonderful things. So we are not running out of examples. See, words all 8 billion population and more than 100 billion who died. So everybody said a lot of things, from the cavemen who painted in the caves to the philosophers, Bhagavad Gita, Shankaracharya, Greek philosophers, modern day philosophers, science. You will be having too much data. The problem is to concise the data and say words can make or break. Different examples, positive, negative. End of the day, you have to speak good word. You have to, whenever you open your mouth, you have to be kind. If you there is a quote, right? If you can choose kindness, always choose kindness. Okay. Or as Buddhism says, if you follow the Ashtanga Marga, if you follow the right way of speech, which is said in Jainism, Buddhism, Hinduism, right speech will always make the right things. So towards the conclusion, I will always talk about how to develop that right speech, because some people are very good in speak, right? Not to hurt others. You can say harsh things without hurting them. That is constructive criticism that comes from value-based education system. So right word is your choice. So this is not such a difficult topic in comparison to our older topics. But my problem is how you bring it to the paper. Any questions?
Can add what's Kalyan with the time? Same word.
I told no, with the time, the same word will lose meaning, same words will gain more meaning. For example, in Indira Gandhi's time, somebody mentioned Garibi Hatao. Okay, Garibi Hatao is a very powerful slogan during Indira Gandhi's time. People literally voted for it. In 2023, if I shout Garibi Hatao, people won't even look at me. I will have to shout Vikas. Yes or no? Or Jai Hind or Vande Mataram may not evoke the same amount of emotion as it evoked our founding fathers. People literally were standing in the sun, getting beaten by the Britishers, and they were shouting Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram. Okay, that is a powerful mantra. Probably if I hear Vande Mataram, I may not feel the same emotion. Yes or no? Yes, but again, remember, whenever, even after all these years, if I listen to Janagana Mana in theater or some places, okay, I will always get goosebumps. So that is again something that we are used to. That word, that's Janagana Mana has its own importance in my life, right? So everybody will have such kind of words, right? Again, it changes from person to person. Yes, Ashoka's Dharma policy and different pillars can be used as a conclusion. Definitely promote. That will be a fantastic try. Yes. Think of all the good things. Okay, again, Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, they wrote books, spread positivity. Calling to the better angels of our nature is what promotes words. Okay, enough of this particular topic. You people are not participating as much as I want you to. Yes. In the end, it's not about truth, right? It's about, having that right word. Okay. Yes. Next. Again, ideal layers is from starting with individual, community if applicable, society, nation, international level, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is what I call as humanitarian. The larger picture is humanity as a whole. Yes. The scope again is here. How do you promote good words only? How do you try to make people understand that, the scope is about the receiver. Receiver dimension is the scope. Or how you make people stronger. I mean, how you make people not to use bad words. That is also one scope, right? How do you promote the right language, the right choice of words? Yes, all this is scope only. Okay. Definitely words uttered by powerful people will become powerful. Okay. Yes, because when it comes from the mouth of Krishna, the ordinary words will also become extraordinary. Yes. Clear. Okay. We will move on to the second topic, which is very, very easy. That is good fences make good neighbors. Very, very easy topic. Okay. So think about it. What do you understand by this topic? So first, do you agree or disagree? Then you have to have a thesis statement. Thesis statement means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions or 7 questions. It depends up to your creativity. After that, you have to think about dimensions and examples. But before all these things, what is most important? Interpretation. So you have to interpret the topic. You have to understand whether you have to agree or disagree with the topic. Then you write the thesis statement. Based on the thesis statement, you will add examples and dimensions. Then you will find a conclusion. But between these two things, you will have something called as scope. Do I increase the topic or should I keep it very narrow? Okay. According to Kautilya, see again, I don't believe that is true, right? Kautilya says Mitra, Arimitra, Rajamandala. If you read the Rajamandala concept of Kautilya, he never says all people are your enemies, right? He says Mitra, Arimitra. As international rule says, there are no permanent enemies, no permanent friends. It's only about permanent interests. Okay. So we'll go layer by layer. First, we will interpret the topic. Good fences make good neighbors. So first of all, fences means limits. Okay. Boundaries. Yes, borders, demarcations, limits, spaces, buffers. So fence can be a lot of things in a lot of ways. But the first thing that people will get in their mind is international relations or borders. Okay, definitely a border is there. Good borders will make good neighbors. Let's say I agree 60%. I disagree 40%. Okay. Right. Then next I will try to justify what? Yes, my agreement. How do I justify my agreement? I will say, let's say with Bangladesh, okay, I have decent border nowadays. Probably it will make a good neighbor of Bangladesh, right? Some other examples, but here is where your dimensionality will come into the picture. Apart from moving from international relations, you have to bring the dimensions part. Now we will do a simple example.
Like in the individual level, we can talk about it.
See again at see layers. A good point. I will tell everyone who is listening to the class. There are two ways to attempt this. Okay, one is layers: family, individual, society, and all these things. Or we can go for dimensions. For example, if you take GS paper 1 copy, okay, there is geography, there is society, there is what, culture, right? So can you find any example of dimensions from geography? Like because of natural boundary between two states, they are peaceful. Okay. Just a stretch, just to make you think. Okay. Atlantic Ocean is a good buffer between Europe and USA. It is working for them. Okay. Again, I'm not saying it's a perfect example, just to make you think. Sometimes geography will also act as a wonderful buffer. Yes. Now think of society. We will come, Sai. Definitely, we will come to separation of powers. Let's go paper by paper, right? Let's say society. Within society, okay, good fences make good neighbors. For example, religious harmony. As long as you don't impose on my religion, if I'm not imposing my religion on you, there is a healthy buffer between two communities. They will stay in harmony. Yes or no? Only when people perceive that my religion is in the threat, okay, communalism might come into the picture. Yes, or between two communities, two religions, two states, right? Geography wise also. Okay. Again, this is just to make you think, not saying these are perfect examples. Society, you have different examples. Let's say women. Okay. Sexual harassment won't happen if there is a healthy buffer between the two co-employees. Okay, even that is a boundary, right? There are certain unwritten boundaries in the society that are not supposed to be crossed. Himalayas act as a boundary between a lot of neighbors. Actually, Himalayas act as a good border for India and its neighbors. Very good geography dimension. It promotes sovereignty. Yes, definitely. But again, maritime boundaries a lot of security for India. Society. No. Again, I will come to society in negative example. Good fences does not make good neighbors. Okay. Think of society, anything. Sorry? Unity. Unity will come how? Unity will not be there if there are fences. If we are divided into different communities, okay.
At that level, you will know societal level. Can we interpret petition to buy something? Like if I say Hindu Muslim bye bye, that's a good fence, maybe.
Hindu Muslim bye bye is a good fence. Okay.
Trying to bind them.
Trying to bind them.
But by default, people look at it like two.
Yeah. I'm not convinced immediately, but I will think about it. Okay, but you understood the concept, right? Using society as an example, you can find a lot of things. For example, to keep children protected from a lot of work and all those things, you can have certain boundaries. It's up to your creativity to find different examples. Okay. Next, in the same. No, definitely I will come to negative for again society, because we are just talking about the positive, right? Identifying how good fences make good neighbors. My first point is 60%. I agree with the statement. As Sai was saying, Sai Kiran was saying, I think separation of powers is a fantastic example where good fences make good neighbors. Judicial overreach, judicial activism, and all these things would not be in picture if there is healthy balance between three organs of the state. Okay, then negative examples I will come, Swati. That is a fantastic example even in my mind. Casteism is definitely not a good fence. Okay. Respecting the privacy is a fence. Digital privacy, all these things also make good neighbors. If you are already prying on me, that won't violate my, that will violate my privacy. Yes or no? Privacy is a fence in the mind of the person, right? If you come, if you start looking at my phone, for example, Pegasus and all these things, that is violation of trust. Yes, next. So Sai is saying good fences between laws and customs. For example, Shabarimala case we can probably bring in here, where society was severely offended or affected by the constitutional morality. So constitutional morality versus societal morality. That is a line you can throw in. So constitution says something is right, society says something is right. So constitutional morality versus societal morality leads to a clash in good fences make good neighbors. Okay, but here it should be more of a positive example, right? Again, you can say as long as they respect each other's territory, good fences make good neighbors. Good. Enforcement agencies. How do you justify that? Not allowing someone to cross their lines. That means you are not supposed to evade taxes as long as you don't good fence. So as long as you respect that fence, you are safe. That is what you wanted to say. Yes, definitely CBI, ED, income tax. So it's a fence. You're not supposed to go for money laundering and all these things. So laws are there to protect you. As long as laws are followed, neighbors is there. But again, who are the neighbors here? Individual and the state. Income tax department and the individuals. Okay. Socialism in between of communism and institutional independence. Definitely, right? Especially in case of UPSC. Right? Yeah. Land boundary agreement with Bangladesh, definitely. Maritime settlement with Sri Lanka. IR have 10,000 examples. Border settlement have 10,000 examples. I hope you people are convinced that good fences make good neighbors. Okay. Now is where you shine. You have to disagree saying that good fences doesn't always make good neighbors. And say one last point. A very powerful justification is asymmetrical federalism. That is a lot of special provisions given to the some states or union territories so that they will have a growth of their own. At the same time, environment. Okay, all the pandemics that we see is because we didn't respect the boundaries. As long as we respected the boundaries of the nature, man and nature were coexisting, man and animals were coexisting. So good fences make good neighbors. That means man and nature can live peacefully as long as they respect the boundaries. For example, tribals are very good in this. They have a healthy boundary with the nature. It is once you start exploiting, once you start breaking the fences, that is when all the pandemics broke loose. Okay, so now let's talk about negative examples. Negative examples are very, very easy. For example, again, we will start with society or geography. Any negative example from geography? India-China border, good fence. Do we actually have a good fence? Because of lack of fence, we are not having it. But here my argument is good fence does not always make good neighbors. In spite of having a agreed LOC with Pakistan, which is kind of a fence, okay, we still have Pakistan's problem. That is cross-border terrorism. Okay. Yes, definitely. That is what I'm saying. River water disputes. Okay. So sometimes you clearly know where the river and all these things are there, but still you cannot have good neighbors. Okay. Society, I bring in casteism. Casteism is an artificial fence that has been brought in to keep people, in their own spaces. Okay. The negative interpretation of the casteism is a negative fence, right? It is not helping people to stay, our social mobilities and all these things are limited because of casteism. So a good fence doesn't always make a good neighbor. It is actually used as a tool for suppression. Okay. Reservation also comes as a fence. Okay, definitely a good point. But again, affirmative action is a good fence which is making good neighbors. The 16%, 7.5%, 27%, 10%, it is allowing everybody to coexist within that 50% of the things, right? It is giving you the social mobility. So I will write reservation as a positive thing rather than a negative thing. Strength and regionalism. Good fences doesn't make good neighbors all the time. Okay, that is a positive example actually. For example, if language is a border, if language is a fence, okay, language automatically created clusters where people have developed on their own. Good fences make good neighbors, but I'm asking for good fences doesn't always make for good neighbors.
Sorry, environment point of view, carbon credit trade. It's supposed to limit the companies from going beyond the
carbon credit trade. That doesn't act as a fence, right? It's just a mechanism.
See, it's supposed to limit the companies.
I understand, but it directly doesn't become the.
Because of that one, now the companies either can limit it or they can go exceed the limit and they can buy the carbon credits. So
Okay.
it's like they're giving them some.
I understand your intention. It's almost there. Karnataka, Maharashtra, infiltration, jails actually good fences make good neighbors. How do you elaborate on that? Maratha reservations. Okay. For example, local reservations. Many states are implementing 75% reservation for the local youth. So it acts as a fence. So good fences always doesn't make good neighbors. Very good example. That's nice. Son of the soil theory doesn't act as a good fence. Fantastic. States are divided into linguistic basis, but still later it worked actually for the states. What is his name? The writer, India after Gandhi. Ramchandra Guha argues how actually religious bifurcation of the states helped India to gain unity. Okay. Reserve forest and tribal rights, very good example for a positive case. Suppression of tribal culture, yeah, you can write it in both ways, right? Sai is saying the negative side, but I will take the positive side. Both are equally true. Very good. Yes. Any other things where good fences doesn't make good neighbors? Biosphere reserves make
some parts where tribals are not able to live.
Community rights were not given to the forest rights are not being properly implemented. So using a fence, you are actually removing them from their livelihood. Forest right acts and its negative implementation or improper implementation can be cited. Good. Ghettoization is definitely one thing from the society. Good fences. That means ghettoization. I hope whenever there is a communal feeling or fear of minority majority, all the minorities prefer to stay in one area. That is ghettoization. So ghettoization doesn't actually work because the inclusivity of the society is gone. There is a clear bifurcation between the majority and the minority. So in future that might lead to clashes. 5th and 6th schedule areas definitely nice. Very good point by Everest. When it comes to mental health, okay, I will add it as a mental health, where I say I don't know my neighbor. In city, I don't know my neighbor. I don't talk to anyone. We are a nation of, what is the term? I forgot the term. Okay. We look more into mobiles rather than talk to the next door neighbor. So good fence, because of my isolation, individuality, privacy, and all these things, is creating to mental issues, mental health issues. That's a nice point you have brought in, Everest. I appreciate that. See, again, I forgot to mention one perspective. I will come back. Please keep that point. Okay. Good fence doesn't mean 100% protection. Okay. A good fence is one which knows when to allow, where to allow, and how much to allow. It's not like, for example, somebody was saying globalization. Good fence is I will allow certain things. Okay. At the same time, I'm not supportive of anti-dumping. I'm not supporting of dumping. Okay. In RCP also, there is a clause called as Ractec class, which says if you start dumping, I can cut your FTA. Okay. So good fence is not like, either it's there, it's not there. It's about knowing the boundaries by each and everyone in their own way. Okay. IPR depriving people benefits to people. Okay, that is good fence make good neighbors. We can again have to cite right examples, Sridhar. Let's say, for example, companies like Bayer are using IPR to make sure that it is a very costly medicine, evergreening of medicine and all those things, right? So that's nice example actually. Good fences doesn't always make good neighbors. Echo chambers, definitely. Echo chamber is created by a fence. I created a fence of hate around myself. Yes, definitely. It's like semi-permeable membrane. Okay, that means sometimes you have to allow, sometimes you should not allow. Like say for example, with Pakistan border, I cannot argue it has to know where to allow. No, Pakistan border should be very crystal clear. There is no gap. It's not permeable. Okay, but whereas with Bangladesh, even if I try, it's porous because of the geographical limitations. Right? So fence alone won't do. There should be more than fence. For example, with Bangladesh, we have a very good fence, but apart from fence, we also have very good relations with Sheikh Hasina's government. We are promoting soft power. There are a lot of things we are doing apart from a good boundary, which is making our relationship work. Yes. So fence alone, a good fences automatically doesn't make a good neighborhood. There is a lot of things that you need to do to make the things work. I hope you understood the scope of the essay, right? Yes. Any other conclusion ideas? You have to think, because obviously just having a fence alone doesn't work. Even having a biodiversity park doesn't automatically improve tiger population, right? You are creating a tiger sanctuary. National park is a good fence, making good neighbors. Neighbors is whom? Citizens, people. National park is for welfare of the animal, but within that we have conservation efforts. We are trying to promote a lot of things. So good fences automatically doesn't make good neighbors. A lot of efforts have to be put in. Dog human conflict, animal human conflict. Yes, you can write all those points. It is a very good point, but again you have to bring in the night orientation. Anything else that we are missing macroly? Aadhaar as a fence for digital inclusion without Data Protection Act. See, first of all, without Aadhaar, technically encryption is a good protection, but we have to think in a bigger picture, right? Data protection law will act as a good fence. For example, European Union have GDPR. India doesn't have a data protection law. So that is probably leading to problems with India and other neighbors. So despite no good fences, good neighbors. Fantastic. That is also good dimension. Where we can say Nepal, right? Nepal is an example where we doesn't actually have a fence, technically speaking, but still have very good relations. So Pakistan and Nepal can be countered against each other. In spite of having fence with Pakistan, we have bad relations. Without fence, also we have good relations with Nepal. So fence is not the prerequisite for peace and prosperity. It's all about how you promote the trust and development. Fence will only help you in extraordinary times. In emergency situations, you can also counter argue by saying, global migrations, refugees, global migrants, refugees, these things are increasing. Climate refugees are increasing. Okay, having a fence doesn't actually help. Sometimes you need to open up the fences. So you can add layers there also. Rich and poor funds. Okay, social mobility is one term for that, right? Yes. Sedition law. Okay. Any other example of where we can argue, not having a fence also still working for us, not only IR perspective. See, social customs and traditions, right? Social customs and traditions in society. For example, in Telugu states, at least as far as I know, okay, there is a festival called as Peerla Pandaga. That's actually Muharram. Okay, it's a mourning day for the Shia perspective. Okay, but nobody invites Hindus, but everybody in the village goes and participates. There are actually no offense between the community. Every single person from the village will celebrate that festival, right? So it doesn't matter if there are fences or not, as long as you have other bonding mechanisms. Okay, you can always be prosperous. That is the ultimate objective, right? The ultimate objective is to create a good neighbor. Probably in the initial days, you can have a good neighbor, a good fence to make a good neighbor. Once you start developing good relations with that neighbor, probably you'll put a gate there. Yes or no? We all know such stories, right? Where people joined as neighbors and became family friends. Yes or no? Lifelong friends. So neighbors in the initial days, we don't know them. We are afraid of them. Probably it's worthy to have a fence. But as the relation progresses, the importance of the fence will come down. But once you understand that the neighbor is, problematic, you will actually strengthen your fence. History and mythology, no good fences, but can make good neighbors. Okay. Acceptance of LGBT community. Okay. Despite not having codified laws for them. Okay. Technically speaking, yes. We as a society have broken our fences towards accepting of the third gender. Now we can see third gender are being promoted everywhere in government jobs and all these things. So sometimes fences which are outdated should be removed, like the LGBT fear or transgender fears. Right? To promote a good society, we actually don't need good fences. That can be a layer. Very good. Co-education is an artificial fence, or it's lack of fence, no fence for understanding the opposite gender. Yes, definitely. Yes. Good. I hope you people understood, right? Breaking fences of patriarchy. Definitely, patriarchy, casteism, all these outdated fences should go away. Nice. How do you know? Again, it depends on, as I said, not only the fence, how much effort you are putting in with the neighbor. Are you doing something more than, say, for example, in an institute, if there is a code of ethics where women are supposed to be respected, sensitized, value-based education is there, family upbringing is properly, then you actually don't need a fence. You will always know how much space to be given to a particular person. Okay. Crimes and all these things will also diminish if there is value-based education. So to conclude, we can say it's not only about the fence, it's about much more than what you do. So as you invest in that relationship, automatically you will know to maintain that fence or dilute that fence. But having fence is not the wrong thing all the time. But in negative areas, definitely fences have to be broken. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you got some brainstorming ideas, right? Again, this is for you people. You should think more. If you can find any other fantastic examples apart from what I said, you have a better scope than what I have said, better thought process than what I have said, please feel free to write. Don't keep me as a benchmark. I'm not even a benchmark. You are always better than me. You can do a lot more. Okay. Yes. Any questions? Unconditional love by unconditional love by parents is not no fence. Okay. FRBM is a good fence. Fantastic. Yes, definitely agreed. Again, as I said, you can find 10,000 examples. It's up to you. So, yes. Any other questions? Yes, you can write as a first person. Let's say in the intro part, you can write, I when I was a child. Okay, this is what worked, because I personally wrote such an essay. I got 135 plus something that time. So it's totally valid to write my story in the intros. But in the body part, if you are writing I many times, that is not appreciated because it's a formal essay, right? So occasionally 1 or 2 times is chalta hai, but making it a very personalized essay is not appreciated most of the times. Again, it depends on your writing skills. What are thesis statements here? Okay. Will good fences make good neighbors? Okay. What constitutes a good fence? Okay. What constitutes a good neighbor? Okay. What happens if there is no fence? Okay. Can relations be there without fences also? These are all thesis statements. Whatever we have discussed, again, in more or less in the same lines, right? We have discussed all the dimensions. Can we include story of Mahajanapadas in the intro? And present day Ukraine conflict fences in the conclusion. Technically, Ukraine conflict, you can write NATO as a fence, NATO as an artificial fence, which was imposed on Russia. That's a nice thing. Definitely 1 or 2 times you can use anecdotes in the body. No problem. As one dimension, one paragraph. Yes. See, thesis scope is subpart of thesis. What I meant to say is you have 6 or 7 questions. 1 or 2 questions within the, apart from the most obvious, is the scope, right? That means what I say is everybody can understand why we need a good fence, what is good neighbor, good friends. Okay, what happens when we don't have a fence, and all this is our scope. So scope is sub part of thesis. Ultimately, if you have 6 questions, see, again I will tell you, those who don't know, if there are 6 questions with you in the thesis statement in the starting, 6 questions, 200 words, 1200 word essay done. Yes or no? I will write 3 or 4 paragraphs about the first thesis, that is what makes a good neighbor and good friends. Okay, I will give certain examples like India, Bangladesh, or something, family members and all those things. Next, different questions. What will happen if there is no fence? Can still we have good relations? Positive and negative examples, 3 or 4 dimensions. Like this, every thesis statement will allow you to write 4 paragraphs. By the time you write all the 6 questions, okay, you have 1200 word essay by default. You will not miss the logical flow. You will not have any problem what to think, because it's like writing 6 small 200 words essays. It will keep you in very organized fashion. Yeah. Got it? Yes. Again, if you don't have any questions, I will end the session here. Yes, examples wise, we have discussed enough. Macro questions, please let me know. Yeah. So if I believe in the rumor mill, all the very best for your prelims results. Hopefully by tonight or tomorrow morning. Right. Okay, then if you don't have any questions, see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you everyone for participating. Yes, I hope you are learning something new.